Here's Steve Kaplowitz and Adrian Broadus.
You know, this song's got a name that some of us can relate to. Chug all night. What are you going to do this weekend? I'm going to chug all night. Tell you what, we're going to chug through the next 2.5 here on a Friday. Get you ready to go for Chihuahuas baseball. They got a game coming up here, 6:30. 6:35, actually. We will have our coverage starting at the bottom of the hour. I don't know about you, Adrian. I'm heading to the ballpark tonight. I didn't get enough on Wednesday, so I want to go back tonight. I was going to go tomorrow, but it's WrestleMania day one, so that right there takes precedence. I mean, I will be at the house tomorrow night watching WrestleMania with Joel. I'm not going to lie to you. I will be back there on Sunday, probably watching day 2 of WrestleMania, which is the big day. Well, actually, they're both big. Yeah, The Rock's wrestling on Saturday, so that's big. Then they got the big title match on Sunday. But I think my plan will be probably to go right to the ballpark Sunday, watch an afternoon game, come home, and get ready for WrestleMania Day 2. Like, to me, these 2 days, if you're a pro wrestling fan, oh, it's so much fun. So much fun. And and by the way, yeah, I know about all the stuff that goes on with wrestling. I don't care. I don't. When you've been watching pro wrestling for almost 40 years, you just don't. Actually, more than 40 now. For me, it's 40 plus. I mean, it's just the entertainment aspect that I can't get enough of. And these 2 days are going to be amazing, Adrian. WrestleMania weekend. Pat McAfee was there today. He was actually in Philly interviewing everybody with his show the last couple of days. Those guys had a blast.
I'm glad that Pat McAfee was on hand for that. You know, he's somebody who's so involved with wrestling. I mean, what a sports weekend, right, Steve? You got Final Four on both sides, all the NBA heating up, baseball continuing to heat up. Last night I was out at the ballpark. Michael Lorenzen on the mound.
Yep.
It's funny, Steve, there's always like a heckler out there at Southwest University Park. Yeah, you don't like where this story's going. Early in the game, not a lot of people there, mostly families, younger kids, and a guy behind us who definitely didn't have the seats where we were sitting by, was screaming nonstop, trying to heckle Michael Lorenzen, nonstop, just like nonstop, Steve. What do you do? Do you say something? Do you ever look at somebody like that who's just nonstop heckling and say something to them as a big baseball fan like you?
It bothers me. It really does. It's upsetting. That's when the beverage accidentally slips out of your hand and projects forward and maybe connects with the heckler. Maybe that's just something that happens.
I like it. There were people who gave him nasty looks, mostly parents, because their kids were around and they were hearing bad language around them. And this guy definitely didn't have a seat around him, so he just kept walking around very close to the actual game and wouldn't stop heckling. That was just the funny part.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's let's put it this way. That's pretty wild. So, you know what? Maybe more than anything else, it just goes to show you that sometimes, there are those fans out there. There just are. Hecklers are people that, yeah, it's frustrating. It frustrates me in a big way, but there's not much you can do, right? Not much you can do.
Because, as he said, it's a First Amendment. He kept saying that to everybody who would look at him, and he said, I can scream as loud as I want. Like, a lot of people were giving him ugly looks, and he had responses for that. So you're right, Steve. For those types of people, you don't win. But we were winners as fans, getting to watch Michael Lorenzen on the mound yesterday for the Express. This is a guy who, less than 9 months ago, threw a no-hitter, was a 2023 Major League Baseball All-Star, and Lorenzen adds to the long list of players who have a rehab start here in El Paso and get a chance to play at Southwest University Park.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, and definitely something that was fun. I watched him take photos. I watched him take pictures with fans. What was it, Wednesday night after we were getting ready to leave after that long night. He was out there long after the game was over posing for photos and just could not be nicer.
That's really cool. I mean, he's a tank. Like, when you look at him in person, I like the hair that he's sporting, but his arms look juiced, man. Yeah. He's definitely spent days in the workout room for sure.
No doubt. So that's cool. So you had a chance to watch that game last night. It's a lot of fun. And Were you in our seats last night?
Yeah, I was. They were great.
Those are the 109s?
Yes, they were fantastic.
Those are so much fun.
We had a great time.
That's where we're going to be tonight. So
nice.
Excited about that. Looking forward to it. Matter of fact, my brother's going to be taking his family. Joel's tagging along with them, and then I'm going to meet up with him after the show's over. So it's a perfect night. What'd you eat at the ballpark?
Last night, you'd be proud of me. I skipped out. I had a lot on Wednesday when we all went out there.
Yeah.
So I felt like between the hot dog I had, the burger I had, and I stole some chicken strips. Those are for the kids, but I stole some of those. I loved all the stuff that we had on Wednesday.
Okay, so you didn't eat at the ballpark last night?
No, I didn't.
It was tempting, though, wasn't it?
It was very tempting. You know, I was the most tempted by the Desert Oak spot. I saw the Desert Oak barbecue spot, the new potato that I saw somebody indulge in out there. Oh, man. They're doing it right. The new stand for Desert Oak barbecue at Southwest University Park is like the best combination ever.
It's fantastic. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it, and when I get out there to the park tonight. We had here at the station Ideos Mio Cocina today. We had it was nice, like fajita meat. We had some potatoes. We also had some. Oh, we had the corn ribs.
Wow, no way!
Those
Did you guys have
good.
some of the bone marrow from over there?
It was gone by the time I got there. From what I understand, Alberto ate it all.
Alberto just stepped out, but I have to get the update from him on that. I'm jealous. I've seen the bone marrow, and I've heard it's like legendary.
That's what I've heard too. So no, I was already gone. The bones were still there when I got there, but the marrow was long gone. Long gone.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Steve, but hey, maybe you and I have to go and just get the bone marrow ourselves.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Hey, by the way, you spent the morning out at UTEP. Today was their first scrimmage game. You wrote about it on the website without giving away the story so people can actually go and read your content. Did you have some good takeaways?
Yes, and I'll start off with an analogy. I mean, back in high school, there would be an assigned reading. Sometimes I would just be whatever about the reading, and then I would just take the Spark Notes version. Because we're unable to watch the scrimmage today, we get to watch the individual drills for UTEP practice. I'm getting like the Sparks Notes version from some of the players and coaches. So asking them kind of who stood out, what are some of the things they need to work on, strengths of the team so far here. Just the first scrimmage, by the way. Big takeaways include turnovers. That was an issue on offense, but it was a mainstay on defense. And one of the other things was it was packed, Steve. There was a lot of recruits on site, coaches and players out there at Glory Field.
All right, so it sounds to me like, it was well attended. That's always a good sign more than anything else. Let's hear what Scotty Walden had to say after the scrimmage.
I love the intent. I thought we had great meetings this morning. The execution is what we got to work on, which is no surprise, in my opinion right now. We're just, first time the live bullets are flying with our schemes, but we got to protect the football better on offense, and defensively did a phenomenal job of taking the football back. I thought we could have stopped the run better on defense. I want to see us be a little stiffer against the run. But overall, I feel like offensively, had way too many turnovers, really sloppy. But you can see like we got our tempo going, got our pace going. It was good to see guys getting rhythm.
What'd you like from the quarterback specifically coached today, both Skyler, Cade, and even JP who's stepping up right now?
Yeah, I love both those guys, competition level and the ability to bounce back. Kind of what I talked to the team afterwards, man, was, the interception or the fumble, that's one thing. But I want to see you the next play. Like, I want to see how you respond the next play. And I thought all those guys responded really well. But we cannot be that careless with the football. That's my biggest takeaway with the quarterbacks. I told them after I was very disappointed in the way that they handled the football today. We're going to get that cleaned up. But I think overall, when I watch them in the pocket, when I watch them in our plays, if the explosive wasn't there or whatever, I want to see their eyes in the right spot. Because it's all about the process, man. So, because the end result's going to come. If we can just get our eyes placed in the right spot, our progression is right. And I thought overall that was good today.
I know you kind of touched on it there. I know you said belief in playing faster, the two things you want to come out of spring ball. Where do you feel like have you taken a step towards that with the scrimmage under your belt now, or just where are you guys at?
Yeah, 100%. I think we definitely taken a stance, or a step, forward with belief and the tempo and the pace. We're still we're still struggling to understand drill transition at times, but and again, Rome wasn't built in a day. I told him that a long time ago. It's going to take time to get that tempo, that pace down. We demand a lot at our practices. Our practices are not for the faint of heart. They are not, guys aren't allowed to be on the knee. You're not going to see guys walking. We're going to call that stuff back, and it's the ultimate level of accountability. And so the only way to instill that now is we got to be tight on that. And so we have been really tight on that, and the guys have responded. The thing I love about this team, they want to win. They want to win. They want to fight. They want to do right. It's a learning process, and we have to continue that process and never waver in our standard. And I really like our coach.
So there you go. That's once again head coach Scotty Walden talking after the scrimmage. Things he liked, things he didn't like, and just kind of giving you a little bit of a breakdown.
The defense was one of the strong points today at the first scrimmage. The two quarterbacks right now who he fixated on, Skylar Locklear, he's somebody who played 4 games over 2 seasons with Austin Peay, a redshirt sophomore coming into the system as a transfer, and he looks to be competing against our own Cade McConnell. So Cade, remember, he started the last 6 games for the Miners this past season. He went 2-4 as a starter last year, although the only 2 out of the 3 wins that UTEP had last year, 2 of them came with Cade as a starter. So that's what they're looking at right now. It's a quarterback battle. I don't think this gets resolved anytime soon, and I do believe that this quarterback battle will drag all the way through till fall camp.
Let's hear from Skylar Locklear. He's also able to give us some thoughts after his first scrimmage as a Miner.
Is 9 for good now, or is this temporary?
9's for good.
Okay.
9 is for good.
How did the first scrimmage go today?
I think it went great. We finally got to be in a kind of live setting. Quarterbacks got to go live for a little bit, but it was great seeing everybody be able to fly around and use everything that we've learned when we're just going thud and being able to see people actually play football and actually hit and see who the dogs are on our team.
Obviously quarterback competition right now. Just how do you feel you did and then the whole group as well?
I think we all have things to work on. That we all did great at certain points and we all messed up. We had too many turnovers, so we got to get that fixed. We got to go to the film room tonight and really just use this as a growth opportunity.
How do you feel you did with your reps?
I think I did good. I won't know until I go and watch film, and I got to use the film to continue to grow and be better, because I can never. If I say that I did great, that's not leaving any room for growth. So I'm going to go in there, and I don't know right now. I'll see on film and use that to grow.
You've been praised so far for your mobility by some of your players. Is that one of your strengths, and what are some of the other strengths that we could see from you this season?
So once again, let me see if I can get the answer there. We're having a little bit of a buffering issue on the feed. So unfortunately, sometimes when you run these things off the internet, if the internet's slow, suddenly the answer gets paused.
I feel like that is a strength of mine. I feel like being able to extend the plays when they break down, just so not everything doesn't have to be perfect, and be able to use my feet to extend plays when it's needed.
Your offense overall after today, what are you liking from them?
The O-line is very tough. The O-line, they're a tough group. We have a lot of depth, and the depth at receivers too, and how hard they play. A lot of people think that receivers are like finesse, but we coach our receivers to be tough, and that's what all of our receivers are. They're playing through injuries, that they're battling through things, and they're still going out there every play and giving all they got.
All right, so that's Skylar Locklear. By the way, should note this. Media was not allowed to watch the scrimmage. So essentially, you were told to leave, and then when the scrimmage was over, you come back. So you had to piece this whole thing together based on conversations with players.
Right. It's exactly what I was saying earlier. The Sparks Notes version. I mean, I trust my eyes a lot more than, I'm trusting the players and coaches. But I mean, that's what they see, right? I trust my eyes, and I see different things that I notice on the field, who I like as far as the quarterbacks go, who I like as far as the defense go, and personnel and stuff like that. So that makes me excited for the spring game. April 20th, that will be everybody's first chance to see everything that UTEP's got, for both these teams playing. The first team, which is Orange Swarm, and then black or blue something. There's a blue team as well.
All right. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday the 20th. Let's go to the phones. Hey, there's a lot going on, including the Final Four. Just up the road from us in Phoenix, 6-hour drive, and apparently that's where Abel is right now as he's calling into the show here at 16 past. Abel, how is the Final Four in Phoenix?
It's starting to rock and roll. To finally open the Fan Fiesta, and I got to tell you, man, They have a film festival going on. They got corner performers. Let me get away from that noise. And just a lot of stuff, that goes on. I'm just very blessed that, we come down here looking for teams with Don Haskins West Star Bank tournament. And, we're down here and we talk to coaches and all the good relationships that we have. But then I break off of the crowd and I headed towards the Fan Fiesta. And it's just amazing to me, okay, that they have a bunch of plaster stuff up of teams that won. And I'm looking all over for us. And I'll tell you that I did find us, but I do want to say that they were showing Loyola in 1963 winning that tournament, and they had 2 African Americans on the team. So that picture's there and all that. But I was looking for 1966, and I could not find 1966 reference. So I walked around 2-3 times, and then I kind of looked where they were serving food, and they had video monitors up. And guess what? That's where we were, behind the video monitors.
Oh, they hid the Texas Western team very well, is what you're telling us.
Yeah, you cannot deny what happened with Texas Western College in 1966.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And what it represents, and, the whole thing with Don Haskins and all that. But to not have it prominent as, the watermark of what it started and all the opportunities that came after that game for, athletes, it bugs the crap out of me, Steve.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I'm sorry to hear that, especially with all the other teams that are out there. But again, you know what? Listen, everybody in El Paso understands the significance. They made a movie about this almost 20 years ago. That's a Disney movie that still stood up today. And yes, you wish that Texas Western, given the historical significance of the victory, was more prominently displayed. It's disappointing. It's upsetting. But ultimately, if you're really a college basketball fan, you're really a sports fan, you don't need a fan fiesta set up in Phoenix to truly understand the magnitude and the significance of this team and this win.
Well, I agree with you 100%. But it is history, right?
Yep.
I mean, we can agree it is history. And even in general history, everybody knows who George Washington is, right? Because he's held up in esteem. In other words, the history should not be cloudy.
That's true.
It should be a clear thing about, hey, we'd be amiss if we didn't all, do something, man. Man, Steve, I was walking through there. And I'm over here saying, wow, nothing. And then I look behind some monitors where they're selling corn dogs, and there's where it's at.
Man. Yeah.
Dude, this isn't. Look, NCAA, don't get mad at me. I do NCAA games. I'm not,
Well, maybe they're going to take away your credentials. You know what? We're going to make sure that the NCAA police does not come and try to arrest you on the spot for bad-mouthing them on a phone call to the show. We'll do that.
But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, this is built on the shoulders of people, you know, and they should. This is bigger than the Super Bowl, man. I mean, this place is packed.
Hey, take a picture of where you found it and text it to me so I can see it.
I will text it to you right now.
All right. I appreciate you, Abel. Thanks for the call, man.
Take care, man.
All right. That's Abel out there representing the West Star Don Haskins Sumble Invitational and not happy at all with what he's had a chance to see. I don't blame him. I'd be upset, too, if it was buried like that.
Yeah, you got to show recognition, show support for the 66 team that changed everything.
That's right. All right, let's get moving. Charlie wants our first traffic update of the afternoon. Here with you till 6:30 on a Friday. Charlie, how we doing? Those that he was describing during his call in about the Fan Fiesta and where they put the whole 1966 UTEP situation. And I'll be honest with you, they put a TV, like a giant monitor, right over part of the photo that's being shown. In fact, you can't even see the year if you're looking straight ahead, and part of it is just completely blurred out. It's, he's right. I mean, come on. If you're going to go ahead and you're going to display all the big moments in tournament history, and that's where you put Texas Western, That there's no doubt. That is a slap in the face.
Yeah, I really don't like this whatsoever. The fact that it's behind it just seems like an afterthought, the way that they don't even display it, really. I mean, if you're going to do it this way and not really recognize a team like this, the 1966 Texas Western team that won the national championship by starting 5 black players in that game. So I just feel like that was, you're not doing it justice whatsoever.
And Loyola that he mentioned in 63, I thought did they start 4?
Yes, that's exactly right. They started 4 players at that game. UTEP was the first to do it with all starting 5.
That's right.
So that's right. It was 4, not 2, like you mentioned.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, though. He's got a legitimate point. It's just, it's not right. Not right. They, you're in the fan fiesta. That's nice. And then when you go to these fan fiestas, and we know because we've been to Radio Row now the last 2 years, they do a great job of really trying to present the history of the game and the sport to their fan base. And given the significance of what UTEP did, hiding them behind a large monitor where you can't even see the faces straight ahead of the players involved is just that's not good. That's not a good look. Not a good look at all, and I could understand why Abel was upset. I'd be upset, too, if you're a UTEP fan, you show up there, and that's what you see.
Yeah, and also credit to Abel for feeling compelled enough to give us a call way out, all the way out there for the Final Four. That's good stuff. I'm happy that he's experiencing the fan fiesta out there, the experience out there, but not cool with the fact that Texas Western 66 team gets no love.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. Anyway, it's, again, don't need to worry about that here, but around other places, it would be nice if we got a little bit more of that. So, yeah. Okay. Give me this. Now, you've interviewed a bunch of people today. You had Trey Goodman. Trey Goodman seemed to really be enjoying himself when he came to El Paso. Seems like he's really happy here.
It does. He comes to UTEP after being an all-conference player last year with Austin Peay at the FCS level. A little shorter but fast and speedy wide receiver, and I think that he will be somebody that the offense relies on to be, a playmaker in this offense moving forward. He's somebody who also brings experience to the table. I mean, he had 721 receiving yards last year, 7 touchdowns that he hauled in as well, so he was really excited to be here in El Paso. He was real appreciative of the coaching staff for bringing him over to UTEP along with them. So, yeah, he has a great attitude about this team.
I don't know if you had a chance to hear about what they're going to do with that garage sale after the spring game on 2 weeks from tomorrow. But listen to this, okay? This needs to be mentioned today. And that is that they are going to have, folks, 10,000 items for sale, including over 800 jerseys. That is going to be a massive garage sale after the spring game. Can you imagine 10,000 items, over 800 jerseys, what that's going to be like?
Yeah, I saw this email today, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And you know what? I'll tell you this, Steve. This is just a guess right here. I bet you a lot of those jerseys have checks on them.
I would be willing to bet they all have checks on them.
That's a cool thing for me. I'm wearing my UTEP Nike polo right now, speaking of, and I love these. I love how they fit. I've heard the gamers, like jerseys-wise, are not the greatest as far as fit goes, but you don't need them to fit. You just need them to hang in your house or, display them out there.
Let me explain why those gamers don't fit the way the replicas do. Because they're super tight, and they're built so that when you put the pads on, you can't grab at them. So if somebody buys a jersey, it is going to be as form-fitting to your body as it gets. It's almost like why you need the replica style, because you just need it to be a little looser. You don't want it to be where it's super long, number one. You have to tuck it in. And number two, they're usually very, very tight-fitting.
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, the sleeves just tell everything right there in those Nike jerseys, and they're really long, too. So, yeah, very custom fit, slim fit around the waist and then around the shoulders and stuff like that, too. It just fits a little different.
I agree with that. All right, you know what else I know? It's the bottom of the hour, which means only one thing. Time for Sports Center. Here he is, Adrian Broadus with the latest. No, this was not one of the 5 things you learned today at the spring game, but I do find it very interesting because you mentioned this while at practice before you were told that it was time to go, and that is the fact that Kevin Hurley has switched positions, moving from quarterback to wide receiver here for the Miners in 2024.
Yeah, Kevin Hurley played as a change-of-pace quarterback last year for the Miners, and for Kevin Hurley, he really wanted to see the field this year, get some on-field experience. He's been patient in that quarterback room over the past 2 seasons. He elected to stay with this new staff after Data Dimble was let go last year. So with this new staff, he is hoping to make that transition to wide receiver. Kevin Hurley, we see the athleticism, and we saw it as that kind of change of pace, bulldozing style type of quarterback. And now we might be able to see it in the wide receiver group. This is not new for UTEP. They've done this before, had a lot of position changes in the past, and most notably, Kavika Johnson, he made that transition from quarterback to wide receiver and also had success while doing it.
Yeah, he did. So it's been done. It could be done again, and I'm interested to see what ends up happening when it's all said and done. And remember, for a lot of the Miners that are competing right now for this new coaching staff, this is the first time they've been given a true look from the new staff. I mean, before the start of spring ball, all you had was evaluations on tape from last season, but you hadn't actually seen them in person until you're seeing them right now.
Yeah, and I was, there were people on social media wondering, well, how much of an impact will Kevin Hurley actually make? That's not the point. The point is to just play on the field and to get some on-field experience. So for him, the best thing possible is to have that on-field experience, get in games actually, because, these past years, he wasn't able to step on the field. So let's not even worry about the yardage that he amasses over the season. Let's just look on to whether or not he actually gets on the field this season and plays in real games for the team.
Any injuries you're starting to deal with right now?
I haven't seen too many injuries, fortunately for the Miners. The one that was lingering over the spring ball period was Mike Franklin. I did not see him among the running back group. However, there were a lot of running backs, so it's not like they're easy to point out, Steve. So Mike Franklin at the early part of spring ball was dealing with something. Not sure if he's back or not at this point, but that's definitely a name to keep out for as far as injuries go.
Interesting. All right. Very interesting. Again, folks, we're looking forward to seeing them on the 20th because we will not have the opportunity, other than interviewing and being there for drills, to really see this team play. So interestingly enough, we are going to be watching this team for the first time, like all of you. However, unlike some of the online sites that are trying to ask for subscription fees to stay up to date with everything going at UTEP, you can actually get our coverage free of charge because Adrian's got the wrap up on the site. He posts interviews from being at the after practice because he is there, not being told what's going on, actually getting that information and delivering that to us at 600ESPNElPaso.com. So I'll say this, the fact that there are now UTEP sites asking for subscription-based services for the Scoop. Hey, you could do whatever you want to do. But remember, there's a very select few people that are actually at practice talking to players. Adrian's there. Brett Bloomquist is there from the Times. The TV stations are there as well. And that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. I would say as far as recruiting news, that's stuff that's hard to gather. And I appreciate when there's online sites that'll post anything on recruiting. It makes our job a lot easier.
Yes, it does.
Then we have our own eyes. We've done this for a while. We can assess all the recruits that we want. Like, we don't need a site to tell us who's a good recruit, who's not. The coaching staff could have certain feelings on certain recruits, and that's a whole other thing to even mention right there. But the point is right here, Steve, we're going to continue to bring great coverage here on 600 ESPN El Paso, and we've got boots on the ground here doing it. For people who use subscription-based websites, even the El Paso Times, I credit them because they're here in town, and they're here doing the work as well.
There you go. All right, so that's our thoughts on that, and that's not going to change. In fact, we will be airing the UTEP spring game on 600 ESPN El Paso on Saturday, 2 weeks from tomorrow. John Teicher will have the call with Cole Freitag and Mondo the Monster Medina on the sidelines. It is our regular game day crew. We're treating the spring game exactly like it sounds, like a game. And that's, I think, going to be a lot of fun for our listeners because it's been a while since we've been out at the Sun Bowl with the opportunity to broadcast the spring game.
Yeah, I talked to the guys. Looks like we're going to be doing Miner Talk afterward as
Nice.
well. Presented by the Oscar at the agency. And the District, Pub and Kitchen West, might be hosting us as well for that special Miner Talk.
Really? I like that. That's actually perfect because then you can go from the Sun Bowl right over to the District and you're all set and good to go.
Yes, and we just need people to stop by after the garage sale. Don't miss out the garage sale, though.
No,
That is going to be huge.
But then come to the District with all the goodies you just picked up at the garage sale and show Adrian all the new additions you have to the collection.
Yeah, I might have to send some of the guys like Alberto with my card and Zay with my card, just so they can scoop some of the stuff for me. I felt like the last garage sale was such a success. So
huge.
Time
you
to do it again.
You made out like a bandit at the last garage sale.
Yeah, bought a lot of great things for friends, but I kept some stuff for myself. I still wear this like really nice Round Ballers like button down shirt that I got from there. So yes, you're exactly right.
I am planning, by the way, on picking up just a few things at the garage sale.
Nice, I like that, man.
So yeah,
I'm
saying few with a smile on my face because until you get there and you actually see what they have, a few turns into quite a few. Well, I'll say this. If they've got 800 jerseys that they're going to be selling, that means that there's a lot of people that are going to be walking away with a UTEP jersey.
My final ticket was pretty high. I'll just say that. Yeah, it was pretty high.
500?
No, it wasn't that high. But
250.
Yeah, it was about that, around there.
That's fair.
Yeah, with a lot of presents.
But you came out with like a dozen items almost.
Yes, I had a lot of stuff.
You did good. You were a smart shopper.
I was, and I hope they have last time they had even the smaller things that were really cool, like the programs were really neat, the towels and stuff like that. I want to see them throw it back again for the garage sale.
I hope so. All right, 20 in front of 5 as Sports Talk continues. Back with more right here, 600 ESPN El Paso. So we're going to be giving away tickets to the Foreigners show here soon. Your chance to win 600 ESPN El Paso. Excited about Foreigner coming back to town for their I think it's the final show of the Lou Graham era. It's a big deal. Big deal. All right, let's say hello to John. He joins us next on the phones, 505-6009. Hey, John, how are you today?
Hey, doing good, guys. How
Awesome.
are you guys doing?
Doing well, thanks, man.
Yeah, good. Wanted to talk some basketball with you guys. Women's Final Four.
How excited are you?
I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually pretty hyped for the nightcap game. UConn and Iowa, South Carolina, NC State. I'm not so much.
Right.
I think South Carolina should roll them. They should.
Yeah, I agree.
But the nightcap, yeah. This chick, Caitlin Clark, she's like been the reason I've been watching women's basketball since about January.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big, I mean, Clark, listen, I love watching her play. She's fun. She could shoot it from anywhere and, just, lived up to the hype. Really her whole career, but especially against LSU.
Oh, that one made me real happy, Steve. I can't stand Kim Mulkey. I can't stand her.
What do you dislike about her the most?
Besides her asinine comments and the fact that, in my opinion, she covered up the rape at Baylor. Don't forget that. She throws her players under the bus.
Yeah, pretty regularly, actually. Yeah.
Pretty regularly.
I'm
so
with you.
that one's the main thing with me.
That's fair.
But, like I just said, to me, she covered up the rape at Baylor, and I'm never going to forget that.
All I can tell you is, listen, there's a lot of people are, I won't say happy she's out, but yeah, she was definitely kind of, the bad girl, she was the enemy in this one. There's no doubt.
She's totally the enemy in my book.
Yeah.
Steve, totally.
I hear you.
There's no doubt about it. So we'll see, because the men, honestly, I haven't really been excited for the men's tournament all year. Really haven't really watched much men's basketball this year. Everybody's going to the NBA. It's just to me, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
If UConn doesn't win, I'll be shocked.
It could be, you think doesn't win their semifinal game? I would be shocked, too.
No, the whole thing.
So who do you think they'll end up beating? You think they'll beat Purdue?
I'm hoping NC State can pull it off, Steve.
Yeah.
I do not want to see Purdue pull another one when, who was it? They lost to the 16th seed and ended up winning the national title the year after that. Who was that? Can't remember right now.
That makes two of us. So I'm sorry, John.
Yeah.
I can't remember either.
But, yeah, I don't want that happening. Because remember last year, they lost to Dickinson last year.
Yeah.
As a 1 seed.
Yeah, they got beat by a 15, and then they got beat by a 16. That's right.
Yeah.
In back-to-back years.
Yeah.
St. Peter's, that's who it was.
St. Peter's of New Jersey?
Yeah, that's right. The 15th seed,
okay.
yeah.
There you go. St. Peter's.
Yes, and it was Virginia that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
When they lost to UMBC and ended up winning it the next year. Because everybody wants to remember that. Oh, Virginia won the national championship. No, they lost to a 16 seed.
Yeah. All right, John. Enjoy the games, man. Take care. Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
Good to hear John back. Excited about the women's games tonight. I think everybody would be excited about college basketball tonight, the Final Four. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the second game for sure. Paige Beckers versus Caitlin Clark. Clark's someone who's so fantastic, right? Scores 40 plus in that LSU victory. She's been fantastic all tournament long, all season long, all her entire college career. So much fun to watch her. She turns on television sets. So the first game should be exciting. Second game is going to be epic.
Let's see. Alberto, welcome back. Who are you most excited about watching tonight in the women's Final Four?
Yeah, I'm excited for that UConn-Iowa game. I take Iowa in that one. I take UConn. I want UConn to win that one. I know that everybody wants Caitlin Clark to win. I like going against stories like that.
Do you also feel like Gino hasn't won enough national championships at UConn? Let's just win another one. Is that pretty much the idea there?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I base my arguments, just like the experience of the coach and stuff like that, and recent memory and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna
let's win another one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
that's a Patriots way.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. He's like Belichick. Yeah, the hoodie. All right. Hey, before we wrap up the hour, we've got a big concert coming here to El Paso, and this is going to be a fun one. Actually, that's right. It's Las Cruces, not El Paso. It's coming to the Pan Am Center, October the 9th. Tickets went on sale this morning, folks, 10 a.m. Excited. Foreigner, Loverboy, Pan Am Center. If you want to go, we're going to give you a chance to go right now. This song I'm playing, what year did it come out? First person to get it right at 505-6009 is going to go see Foreigner and Loverboy October 9th at the Pan Am Center. Good luck, everybody. See who can get that right. And by the way, I've got some good stuff for you today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to definitely get into the whole Foreigner experience since they are coming with special guest Loverboy. This is like right up my wheelhouse. I mean, I'm a big Foreigner fan. I'm old enough to remember Foreigner and Loverboy when their records were getting released. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. Now, 40-something years ago, just like it was yesterday. You want to go? 505-6009. What year did that song come out? First person with the correct answer wins the tickets. We'll be back. Sports Talk continues.
Here's Steve Kaplowitz and Adrian Broadus.
All right, hour number 2 of 3 is underway. Welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk continuing with Adrian Broadus, Alberto Urueta. We've got Final Four weekend. We've got WrestleMania weekend. We've got baseball. We got Chihuahuas home through Sunday. A lot of great stuff going on. Everything happening here. And, man, oh, man, loving it. We also have El Paso Locomotive FC getting ready to play against New Mexico United out there in Albuquerque. Big road match. Joe Rod's got you covered with that. on 600ESPNElPaso.com. While you're there, you could check out Adrian's story about the wrap-up from the UTEP spring practice today, his 5 observations. That's up on the site, complete with interviews and all sorts of goodies that is there for you as well. Alberto's got a nice article up about facilities that he would like to see some upgrades at UTEP, some changes, and that is also something to check out. All that at 600ESPNElPaso.com. And then I'm working on a piece here this weekend regarding Juden Smith. And essentially, the gist of the article is Juden's dad was one of the foremost leaders in civil rights out there in New Orleans, and was somebody who knew Dr. Martin Luther King very well, knew the Kennedys, and was very well respected in terms of civil rights, yet never came to UTEP once to watch his son play. So people in the know had no idea about Juden's dad because he never really had family watching him in the 80s, which is crazy considering he played for a man that was known to really change the course of basketball history for that very reason. And civil rights.
That's a wonderful story. I had no clue about this, Steve. This is a great one that I'm so ready to read as far as you bringing this one to light, this story to light. Juden Smith meant so much to the city of El Paso and this UTEP basketball program, and to know that his father paved the way for a lot of the civil rights activism that we've seen and that we still trailblaze to this day. That's awesome stuff right there.
Super cool. So again, that's going to be up this weekend at 600ESPNElPaso.com. Look forward to that, Miner fans. Meanwhile, we got a winner on the Foreigner tickets today. Who was the lucky winner?
Yes, we got Joshua, who guessed correctly, Steve, 1981 on the year of that one right there.
I still have that album on vinyl from 1981 when it was released.
Wow. Okay, I like it. Like from way back when, you kept this one?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have my record collection from when I was a kid.
Nice.
Right now, my son has my record collection, but I still kept all the 33s, the big ones. I had a bunch of 45s. Went one day to Coronado, did some kind of a presentation, and I left them, and they were gone the next day.
Oh, no.
So my entire 45 collection from my childhood is gone.
Okay, that's awful. I hate that story. What about CDs and tapes? Do you also collect those?
So, cassette tapes I have, but I kind of went from, I didn't have a ton of cassettes. I pretty much went more of my cassettes was recording off the radio versus buying cassettes. I was still big on buying vinyl in the 80s when cassettes were big, and then I just transitioned right into CDs.
Okay, I like that.
I still have most of the CDs.
You know, the cassettes they're actually, they're starting to come back, more kind of novelty, right? You know, it's those players that have your all-in-one, your CD player, your vinyl player, and cassette player as well. So saw that make a little bit of a resurgence. It's more for collectible kind of things. If you like a newer album and you want to collect it in this cassette version, that's what people do.
I know it. Listen, I'll say this. I've got so many friends that have cassettes, and they're easy. The thing about cassettes that drove me nuts, though, was when the cassette player would eat the tape, and then all of a sudden your cassette would be ruined. It was such a terrible feeling.
Yes.
Because sometimes, it was never the cassette's fault, it was the player's fault. And if the player wasn't cleaned properly or just started to malfunction, next thing you know, the sound stopped, you had to eject it, and there it is, and you're spooling it, trying to get get the tape back in place and hope it didn't happen again. That's one of the reasons why CDs were so convenient and so easy.
You know, I would consider my dad like the king of cassette tapes.
Really?
He has like an entire closet full of cassette tapes, and organized, look great.
Yep.
I've dealt with a lot of the same headaches you just mentioned, Steve, because I did the same thing. I would listen to some. Probably as a younger kid, I would ruin a lot of those cassette tapes because of the malfunctions that could happen.
No doubt.
So, yeah, I really like those.
So the cassette tapes that I have, which is a couple of shoeboxes full, are all air checks from 1995 to about 2007, 2008. Everything there was using cassettes.
Wow. Okay. Now that's cool, because if you get to have you probably can look through some of those, see some really cool shows, get them converted if you really wanted to, and then do some throwbacks.
Remember this. Every Don Haskins radio show we aired during COVID, every single one of them was via a cassette tape that we then transferred, and you transferred them, and you digitized them all.
Yeah, I don't know how we did that. I mean, shout out Daver, who worked with us, Dave Halperin, because his adapter, Steve, that we got to use, and then how we got to function it through our system, like our recording system, was out of this world. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. But, yeah, it's kind of cool that you could digitize these cassette tapes, and then we could hear them all the way today, like nothing changed, like it was just yesterday.
I know. It was really cool. I agree with you on that one. I've got good news, though. Speaking of cassettes and albums and CDs and everything, we are going to give away some more Foreigner tickets this hour. So listen to win. If you didn't win and you weren't fortunate enough to get the answer right, or you didn't call in quick enough, I'm going to throw some other good ones. And I'm going to go back in time. All right, that's all I'm going to say. We're going to test to see how good of a Foreigner fan some people are out here. And by the way, Pinky, we know Pinky. I'm just going to say that. We get it. We understand. We know. And we appreciate it. How about that?
Super fan.
He is a super fan. A super fan of, would you say that he has probably won more in this radio station than any human being ever in 600 ESPN El Paso history?
Yes, I think so. I think he's number one because of the positivity, too. I think there are other ones who are there. They're just on the other side of it. So sometimes they might be more polarizing. Sometimes they might be negative. But, yeah, as far as positivity goes and consistency, that's Pinky right there.
Yeah, it is. That is. Anyway, all right. So we will be giving away more tickets coming up here this hour. Listen to that. Story time with Hags also in store for you. We got a lot of good things just lined up. If you're just joining us, UTEP held their first spring scrimmage today. It was closed to the media. However, players and coaches were available after the scrimmage to offer up their thoughts. Adrian had the opportunity to talk to Scotty Walden today about the scrimmage. We played that audio earlier this afternoon. Did you have any other takeaways from just being out there at Glory Field and talking to players and coaches afterwards?
Right. You know what? One of the things that I did take away were they are being very aggressive, 365 in recruiting. And I'm a big fan of that. Like, to never stop recruiting. This is the time right now when there are certain players who are still in the transfer portal. They have not decided which destination they will land on, and there will become a period in which the spring time will close, and then the portal will open up again. Wouldn't be surprised if current players on this roster right now that we see in spring ball hit the portal for whatever reason, and then I won't be surprised if UTEP gets a good bit of guys to come into the mix, maybe grad transfers, maybe immediate players, but whatever it might be, out of the transfer portal in this kind of like May, early summer period to come into the mix. They had high school guys out there today. They had also a guy who was there. He said it on social media, Marquez Coleman, I believe that's his name. Mm-hmm. He's a running back from Ball State, had 3 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons. So, Steve, they already have a lot of running backs, but they might get another one right there if they're able to land a Ball State transfer like Marquez, who was there today to make his official visit.
So does this mean that there could be players right now in spring ball competing for a spot that might be, asked to, hey, listen, we just don't have room for you? Like, their roster is already full to begin with. If they've got guys that are looking and taking visits this weekend, it seems to me like there could very well be players that are on the spring roster today that might not be here in another month.
That's very fair. And just a quick correction, Marquez Cooper is his name. So he's a running back from Ball State who is making his official visit. But that is very possible, Steve. You could see some guys here really try to feel the coaching staff out from a player's perspective, use this spring ball period to really try to understand what this team is all about, what the coaching staff is all about. And you know what? If it's not the best fit for them, I could see a player or two, or maybe 3, several players hitting the portal after this spring ball period. And that's just kind of how it is right now. It's ever changing. This roster will be fluid. I expect from now all the way till the start of the season. I believe that you're going to see a depth chart that's not really finalized all the way till fall camp. They're early in all their installations. They're just installing this playbook right now, and it's the older players that they're leaning on to try to be the guys who get everybody else along, and it's the newcomers who are having to learn all this from from scratch.
It's true, but when you say the veterans, we're not really talking necessarily about UTEP because they're all newcomers. Every single returning player on this roster, they're all like playing for the first time because the guys that came over from Austin Peay with Scotty Walden, those guys have a huge advantage on everybody else because they already know the system.
Yeah, and to your point about the advantage that they have, they even know what the coaching staff wants off the field. So, for example, Trey Goodman, he was one of the wide receivers I featured in the interview. At one point, he stopped his interview. He was looking over at some of the returning players from the past UTEP football team, and it was offensive linemen who weren't jogging off the field. I guess they have a rule, hey, every time you go off the field, you got to jog off the field. Some of the players weren't jogging, so he stopped mid-interview. He said, hey, guys, jog off the field. Hey guys, jog off the field. So he's like, trying to implement these little tidbits of leadership into his everyday practices, whether it's his own wide receiver group or if it's another position group like that, the offensive linemen. So holding people accountable, doing things like the coaches want. That's what some of the Austin Peay transfers are really showing right now.
I got you. By the way, this came from YYS at the end of last hour. I don't pay for paywalls, so makes these UTEP-based sites that are charging that people like me would pay. In fact, they should be paying us to listen and read their stuff. So, he's wondering about that. Like, why would he pay if people should be paying him to read the content?
Oh man, if that was the case, YYS, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to afford you as a reader or a subscriber, listener, whatever it might be right there. But I hear what you're saying. I'll be honest, I subscribe to that account and that online website. I'm somebody who consumes a lot of UTEP stuff, and I'm a content creator myself, so I want to see what everybody else is doing. I subscribe to the Times. I have no problem with that, but that's part of my job. I understand it from a consumer standpoint that you don't want to pay.
Very true. YYS also wanted to know if I was a fan of hard-sounding or love ballad Foreigner. There is no question. There is no argument with this for me.
Yeah, you like it.
The harder-sounding Foreigner has always, for me, been my bread and butter.
Okay.
Always, since the day. Never, listen, they made hits with the love ballads. They did. They made a lot of money with the love ballads, and I'm sure there were a lot of babies being born as a result of the love ballads that they came out with. For me, though, it was much more of the harder stuff from Foreigner when they were first around. That's really the kind of sound that I gravitated to the most.
Okay, so you're throwing it on. It's like in your gym rotation mix to get you fired up. Maybe you're in college heading off to class. You just need to get a little fired up a little bit. Throw on Foreigner. Is that what we're talking about right here?
Yeah, and I probably would be listening to, but here's the stuff. Like, if you're going to ask me what kind of songs I'd be listening to, stuff like this, all right? This is the kind of stuff that was in my playlist. Here we go. See what I mean? This is my kind of stuff. The song is called Long, Long Way From Home. And this is my kind of jam. So this is also, early Foreigner. Not what you heard in the 80s. So anyway, there we go. Here it comes. Got a little 70s there, the 70s style. All right, so that's the kind of stuff I'd be listening to if I was working out right now. That would get me going.
I like it. So that's getting you fired up. I like it. This is we're talking late 80s, early 90s when you're listening to this.
Mid 80s.
Mid 80s. Okay, nice.
So this song came out probably in 75, 76. It's an older song, so
you're listening to this
older
on your way
Foreigner.
To practice, like Coronado baseball practice.
I could be
this?
Yeah, in a Walkman.
and you're getting
old
fired up.
Sony Walkman getting ready to go. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like it.
And by the way, 90s, going to the gym to work out, like my song play, my list. Yeah, that song would be in there.
Okay.
That would be in there.
I like it, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. 18 past as we continue here on Sports Talk. Somebody's going to win another pair of tickets to Foreigner this hour. Listen in to hear how you can do it as we send it off to Charlie 1. Let's get this traffic update. Back here on Sports Talk, 23 past the hour as we continue. 505-6009. That's our telephone number. 505-6009. Get you right on in and through to the program. Stay with us. Be giving away tickets to Foreigner a little bit later on here in our 5 o'clock hour. Excited about that. Dodgers lost a wild one today to the Cubs. 9-7 the score.
I didn't hear about this one, Steve. What happened in this one?
Lots of offense, Adrian. Lots and lots of offense, especially from the Cubs. They were hitting the ball like crazy today. And looking at the box score, not good pitching by the Dodgers. They were hit hard and just never really were able to get back on top. Cubs put 5 in the second, 3 in the sixth, and ended up winning this game 9-7. For the Dodgers, Teoscar Hernandez had 3 hits and 4 RBIs. Shohei 2 hits, including his second home run. But Bobby Miller gave up 5 earned runs in just an inning and 2/3. And Michael Grove gave up 3 earned runs, pitching the last 3 innings of the game. Cubs didn't get great pitching from Kyle Hendricks, but Smiley gave up 2 earned and 2 2/3 to get the win. And the big story for the Cubs was, again, Swanson 2 for 3 with his second home run. And then Michael Busch, the former Dodger, getting his first home run of the season to help propel the Cubs to that 9-7 win.
Cubs are red hot right now. Steve won 5 straight with this one. Lineup sneaky good right here. I like their order. I mean, you mentioned some of the bright stars today. Suzuki also played great for them.
Yep.
Had 2 separate RBIs for them when they were rallying in this game and trying to go ahead and win this one. But impressive right here by the Cubs, who have again won 5 straight after dropping the first 2 games of the season.
Maybe the Cubs can keep this going into the weekend. We'll have to wait and see. That's going to be an interesting storyline also. And then, of course, the Padres losing to the Giants today, 3-2 in San Francisco. Giants scoring 1 in the 9th to get the win and beat the Padres, who now lose for the 6th time this season. They're 4-6. Giants are 3-5. We have some teams that are really scuffling out of the gate. You know that? Phillies are 2-4. Nats are 2-4. Mets are 1-5. Giants and Padres have both struggled. Braves are 3-2. Astros are 2-5. Athletics are 1-7. That was to be completely expected. Rockies 2-6. Rays are 3-5. Dodgers are solid, 7-3. Cubs are 5-2, but and the Tigers are off to a great start. They're 6-1 to begin the season.
Yeah, it's got to be the biggest surprise so far, at least early on. I'll say this though, as far as the Astros, that's the biggest surprise to me. One of the things I've always credited the Astros with every single season is how consistent they are on a night-to-night basis. I know just a couple nights ago they blanked the Blue Jays in an admirable fashion, 8-0. They've got an upcoming series against the Rangers. That could tell us a little bit more about this team. Tonight, it's on Apple TV Plus. I'll be tuning in. I'll be watching some of that one because I love watching this Rangers team so far. Love the lineup that they've got. And for the Astros, I'm of course not quitting on them. I just want to see them be consistent, win more games here early on.
Meanwhile, the women's Final Four is already underway. NC State with an early 16-13 lead on South Carolina as they play the last 30 seconds of the first quarter. I know South Carolina's the favorites. They haven't lost all season, but there's just something. There's destiny with this North Carolina State team.
Yeah, that's a really an awesome run that they've had on the season so far. But South Carolina's unbeaten. They're 36-0. It's crazy. Now, that's what makes this one so exciting. I'm really pumped for this one. How crazy would it be if somehow the women's national championship and the men's national championship both had NC State versus UConn?
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
How funny would that be?
It'd be crazy. But it could happen.
I don't think that's ever happened before.
I'd have to look and see if the men and women have ever had the exact same championship game.
Like same matchup like that.
I feel like it has, but I got to remember the last time it did. It's been a few years.
Yeah, that's really interesting right there. I mean, well, especially on the men's side, right? Because NC State was not even supposed to be there. They were a team that was just a write-off. Their coach, there was even some question marks. Would he come back? Would they move on, look for somebody new here in the future? And as far as that NC State run, it's been magical on the men's side. They've done some really cool things on the women's side too. This team has been counted out left and right, and they've made it all the way here to the Final Four. Now they're going toe-to-toe with maybe the heavyweight right now that's left here in the Final Four in South Carolina, which I mentioned, 36-0 on the year.
I don't necessarily think we might have had the same championship games, by the way. I'm looking at the schools that had men's and women's together. And in 2004, the UConn men and women both won the championship that season.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay. So
that happened. Same thing in 2014 for UConn. 2004, 2014, and this year is 2024.
Wow.
Could you imagine if the UConn men and women both win this year? That means they would have spaced it out perfectly every 10 years.
Just like the stars aligned.
Oh, my goodness. It just hit me. I didn't even realize it till right now. But that's right. The UConn men and women won the championship in 2004 and in 2014. And they are the only school to do this. Nobody else has ever done what UConn's done. And if they do it again this year, and it is now the third time, but they do it every 10 years, that is a crazy, crazy pattern to think about. Now all they got to do is beat Iowa. If they beat Iowa, I think it's destiny.
Yeah,
I really do.
I do too. I can already punch the men's team their ticket to the championship. I guess you can't count chickens too early yet, but I'm really rooting for UConn on the men's side because of Tristan Newton, because of the local connection, the Burgess High School graduate who started at East Carolina for 2 seasons, then moved on. Already has won a national championship with UConn. Wants to do it again for back-to-back seasons. But how crazy would that be to do it all those every 10 years? We need to phone in Gator Richard for the conspiracy theory train.
I'm sure he's thinking about it right now. If he's hearing this show, he's like, I knew it. Should have said something about that. And Otani's innocent. All right, more as we continue, including Joe, who's going to join us after SportsCenter. Bottom of the hour as we continue. It's the hour, as promised. Let's jump to the phone lines, 505-6009. Here's Joe joining us next. Hey, Joe, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, I was hearing you guys talk about the Astros slow start. Typically, Houston's a slow-starting team. If you look at their April records the last 7 seasons.
Yeah, it's true.
We've even had 3 losing Aprils in the last 7 years.
You know what, though? Here's the hardest part about the Astros. Verlander's on the shelf coming back. Garcia's coming back from Tommy John. I mean, you look at their rotation, and they're banged up. I mean, Hunter Brown is pitching tonight, and I'm interested to see, how that one goes for him. But then you've got J.P. France. I mean, this is not the kind of rotation that the Astros were wanting to start the season out of the gate with. Rodel Blanco, God bless him, threw a no-no. But do you really expect that to last?
No, I didn't see that coming from him. You also got Urquidy on the IL,
yep.
And McCullers has been hurt the last 2 seasons. And then, like you said, Garcia's coming back. So we got about 4 out of our 5 starters on the IL, which is fine. And then we lost 3 pieces in our middle relief bullpen to free agency. But I think we'll be fine when we get all those players back. Another thing real quick, because I know you guys are busy. I like the Iowa-UConn game tonight. I think Iowa's going to beat UConn in my opinion.
I don't know. Did you hear the conspiracy theory we just threw out there a moment ago?
I missed it. I just jumped on when you guys were talking about the baseball slow start.
All right, so listen to this, okay? Listen to this. And this is why I think you're wrong. Okay. In 2004, the UConn men and women won the national championship the same season. 10 years later in 2014, it happened again. Now
you got 24.
It's 10 years after that. I mean, the stars are aligning for UTEP men and women to win again this year, because that would be 3 times, and it would be happening every 10 years.
Yep. I mean, it could happen, but I just think Caitlin Clark, she's a beast. And we'll see what happens tonight. But switching gears on you real quick, because I haven't called in a while, but the Texans, I got to say, their off-season moves have been, that's what you call all in.
Yeah, it's true. Chef's kiss, no doubt about it. They have been, they've, you know, they're absolutely positioning themselves to compete at the top of the AFC this year. And that's a great way to do it. Love the move. All right, Joe. We'll see you later, man. Thanks for the call. Yeah, Stephon Diggs. Yeah, it's great. Great signing. Great trade. I mean, you know, they're going for it. I give teams credit when they're going for it. You know, you got to take a swing. You can't just sit back and hope it happens.
You know, the one thing that as I kind of digest this one and it's simmered a little bit, I really think that the Stephon Diggs and his time in Buffalo, it was just time for it to be over. He had some problems with the locker room in Minnesota, had problems in the locker room with Buffalo, and it seems that the team in Buffalo, they were okay with seeing him go and depart. And I think the asking price was fair, a second-round pick. And you know what? I think they're going to do just fine with that pick. I think they're going to prioritize wide receiver. They're going to get weapons around Josh Allen. Kincaid is a younger guy. James Cook's a younger guy in that offense. So I think both teams will be just fine. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like, though, Buffalo, they just don't have enough. I mean, Kincaid I like, but you got to give Josh Allen some tools, man. He just doesn't have, right now, he's lost all his toys. They got to go draft a bunch of toys for him and give him some players to throw the ball to.
I think they take a step back this year as far as the wins and losses, but they still find their way into the playoffs. Maybe not make that Super Bowl type of run because they had so many so many contracts to restructure. Got a pretty new team. This is kind of like the rebuild year for Buffalo, but I still feel like they get in the playoffs.
Look, New England's terrible, okay? The Jets is a huge question mark because nobody knows what number 8's going to do this season when he comes back. And then Miami's, still, I mean, Miami had a pretty good team last year with Tua leading the charge. I don't know. I mean, the AFC East, maybe Buffalo feels they could trade Diggs and still compete for a title.
Yeah, I'm just not going to ever bet on the Tua health, and I will bet on Tyreek Hill, but I'm not just going to bet on the Dolphins just because of Tua and that offense. So I'll always side with Josh Allen. I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt situation, and maybe it's kind of like Kansas City where it's not a lot of weapons out there, but somehow he finds ways to win, and that team finds their way into the playoffs.
It could very well be the case. All right, 37 past the hour as Sports Talk continues. This morning at 10 a.m., tickets went on sale through Ticketmaster to see Foreigner with special guests Loverboy, October 9th at the Pan Am Center. And, folks, all I can tell you is it is going to be a popular show because I think this is going to be Foreigner's last run, and that in itself is huge. All right, I gave a trivia question away last hour. This hour is simply going to be, it's a much easier question. It's like, name that tune, okay? Name that tune. Now, they've got a huge catalog. Hits galore. In fact, Adrian, most Foreigner fans know all the hits. They know them all. So, this was a hit, but it's also a bit of a deep track.
Okay, I like it. A little
it's kind of
throwback.
a dual. It's kind of a dual song, okay? I'm going to play the beginning. When you hear the beginning, if you know the band, you're going to know the name. I'm just telling you, this is not the kind of song you need a lot of bars to. You'll know. But I do need the first person through at 505-6009 to identify this song and go to the show in October. You ready to play?
Let's do it.
Here we go. There we go. There we go. That's the beginning. I'll let you even listen to it one more time, folks. just in case you need you want to hear that again. Here we go. Good luck, everybody. 505-6009. First person through with the correct answer wins the tickets. Be back with your trivia winner and a whole lot more as Sports Talk continues. Congratulations to our next winner, Eddie Perez. Eddie knew exactly what song I played before the break. In case you're wondering, here it is when the song kicks in a little bit. Star Rider is what we were looking for. And funny enough, I didn't even know Foreigner sang this song because Lou Gramm is not on vocals. And Lou Gramm was like the guy for Foreigner for so many years. This was Mick Jones singing lead. So because of that, Adrian, it's a little deceiving from the Foreigner debut record that came out in, I think, 1977. But this one, yes, a classic also. And good to see that our listeners are very keen and they can identify their Foreigner tracks from the first bars they hear, even though I heard Steve on Wrestler whiffed on this one.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I have been surprised by all this Foreigner love here on the show, Steve. And actually, they have some heat. You're playing heat. They've got some good music.
We play a lot of Foreigner on the show. In fact, we open the show quite often, an hour with one of their tracks on the program.
That's right. Head Knocker?
Head
Am I right
Knocker.
on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's right. Anyway, that's from the Q2 library, by the way. We like to borrow from the Q2 library because if anybody has never listened to KLAQ2, it's like basically album rock, but some of the songs you'll hear, you didn't get a ton of airplay, but man, I love it. Almost deep tracks.
Yes, you do. You get, for every band that we have out there and that we play regularly on like KLAQ, we get the deep tracks on KLAQ HD2.
Yeah, we do. It's a fun station to listen to. And yeah, a lot of the older music you'll hear from us, from the Eagles, ZZ Top, Foreigner. We try to dive into that Q2 library a little bit and play some classics. So that's what it's all about for us. And the cool thing is that, yeah, I know you're listening to this on an AM radio, but if you're listening to this show on the app, you get to hear this in perfect, crystal clear stereo sound like you're listening to us in the studio on FM.
Sometimes I will listen when I'm off this show, and I'll listen in, and sometimes the actual album cover will pop up on the app. So not only will you get to hear it in crystal clear quality, but you'll also get to see some of the album covers pop up.
That's true. Steve on Wrestler did respond by saying, I swear to God, that sounded like a Jethro Tull musical introduction, not Foreigner. Listen, Steve on Wrestler, since we're close to the same age, you got a couple of years on me. Did you hear any flute in that song, Steve on Wrestler? No. You did not hear any flute in that song. If there were flutes, I would be saying, yep, you're 100% correct. There's some Ian Anderson, there's some Jethro Tull. There were no flutes in that beginning. So please, let's not throw the Jethro Tull references out there just yet. All right? And I'm a huge Jethro Tull fan, by the way. That's why, and we have tons of Jethro Tull on Q2.
Yes, we do.
My God, the live version is like 20-minute songs on Q2 from Jethro Tull.
Yeah, it's a lot of applause, and then you finally hear some music after like the first minute or two.
That's right. I think they play Thick as a Brick live, and it's at least 15 minutes because I once timed it, and I felt like I drove all the way from the far west side to the far east side, and the song was still going on after I finished the drive. So that's always a lot of fun, too.
Jethro Tull, underappreciated. Another of my pop's favorite bands.
I love Jethro Tull. And I saw Ian Anderson at the Abraham Chavez Theater years ago. I know it was years ago because I took my dad, and he's been gone. It'll be 20 years next month, which is still blows me away. Hard to believe that that man has not been with us for the last 20 years. But I took him to the show, and we had great seats, watched and listened to Ian Anderson play the flute and all the Jethro Tull hits, and the place was packed, and it was just such a great time. Happy to know that myself and your dad share some of the same musical interests.
Yes, I would say my dad is more on the prog rock side of things. So when it blends a little bit, like some of this album rock blends into the progressive rock, he sides with that.
So he was into Yes, he was into Rush.
You're exactly right.
You know, your dad would love X-1
He would.
because they are total prog rock now. They're like a 2024 version of that.
Yeah, I was talking to the guys about this and telling them about my dad, and he actually plays in a band too,
cool.
and loves to make music. So yeah, definitely.
Are we ever going to play any of your dad's stuff on the show?
We should. Actually, we might even have some of it in the HD2 library, thanks to Danny Pedrosa, which, by the way, my dad and Danny Pedrosa's dad are in the band together.
That's a great little nugget for us.
Yeah.
That wasn't. What's the name of the band?
The Hoax.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Shout out the Hoax.
Well, I think we need to play some of the Hoax on the show.
Okay. I'll find some of the stuff.
I like that. Meanwhile, we are at the half in the women's Final Four. Again, this is for the chance to play either UConn or Iowa, depending on what happens. 32-31, South Carolina with a narrow 1-point lead over NC State. So far, this matchup is absolutely living up to the hype.
Yeah, it's everything you would ask for here in a Final Four situation, just a back-and-forth, wire-to-wire matchup. It's going to be great to see who ends up coming out on top in this matchup.
Are you surprised upon hearing the news that Haley Van Lith is in the transfer portal?
Yes, but with all the Mulkey news, maybe I shouldn't be that surprised about anything. Like even Angel Reese declaring for the draft and stuff like that, maybe not surprising. I'm not saying that the chapter is closed with Mulkey and LSU, but yeah, it seems like some of the players are departing right now.
By the way, Bronny is also going to the NBA draft, but he's keeping his college eligibility just in case his grades don't come, they aren't high enough.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to the fact that I think he still goes to the draft. I really do. I'll stick to that. I said it earlier this week. He declared today. I think he's going to test the waters. The grades are not going to be that great, and it's not going to be a problem because he's just going to still declare. And whichever team wants LeBron James can draft Bronny.
There you go. 2 hours down, 30 minutes to go. So stay with us. Sports Talk. We'll come back. We'll take you right up to the bottom of the hour. In fact, story time with Hags, just minutes away, right here on your home for Chihuahuas baseball, 600 ESPN El Paso. Ready? Final hour of Sports Talk underway. You know what I just discovered on our must-read bar that I've never gone to until just now? It's amazing. Have you seen our Sports Talk interviews tab that shows all of our COVID interviews from some of the stuff we were doing back in the day?
Oh, no, I've never seen this, Steve.
Here it is. You ready? Here are the newest interviews that come up.
Okay.
Texas baseball's Ivan Melendez.
Nice.
Signee Tay Hardy commits to UTEP Miners.
Untimely.
UTEP commit Jamal Sumlin and Coach Spencer.
That's bad.
Yes. Jeffrey Paternostro on Baseball Prospectus. Let's see what else I've got here. Aaron and Alvin Jones discuss charity game. Cowboys legend Troy Aikman on 8 Lager.
Let's talk about that one. Let's re-rack it.
Baseball author Peter Gollenbach. New Chihuahuas manager Jared Sandberg. We're about 2 years late on that one. How about Maine Celtics player John Bohannon?
That's a couple of years ago, too. He hasn't been in the G League in a while.
Brian Baumgartner from The Office, who played Kevin Malone.
Oh, we need to re-rack that one. There you go.
New Locomotive FC head coach John Hutchins.
Wow.
Lee Sterling's weekly football picks. And then it just goes farther down in the list. And It's good stuff. I didn't even know we had this up there until just now.
I'm looking at this. Thank you to our longtime digital editor on this radio station, Emily, who helped put these up a couple years ago. And yeah, maybe we need to freshen this tab up a little bit. Here.
I don't know. I kind of like the fact that every interview is 2 years or older, don't you?
Yeah, actually, I forgot about a lot of these interviews, and it felt like just yesterday for some of these.
And this goes to show you, we've had some A-list guests on this program over the years.
Yeah, man. I mean, we really have. You're not even if you go 3 years ago, we got good friend of the program, Adam Young. We got, of course, Billy White Shoes Johnson. I remember that interview like it was yesterday. That was a great one.
Telling you, there's some fun stuff. It's all up at 600ESPNElPaso.com. While you're there, check out Dining Deals. This morning, we had the latest dining deal go live. In fact, if you have not had the opportunity to just visit our Dining Deals page, you're missing out, because we've got right now over on Pershing in the 5 Points area. You like Mexican food? You want something a little different. I think that's the best way to put it, because Adrian, that's exactly what you're going to get with our latest dining deal, which, again, went live earlier today. And we're talking also about none other than Adios Mio Cocinas. And that's again, up right now, and it's all part of Dining Deals at 600 ESPN El Paso. Adios Mio Cocina is $50 for just $25, and that went live at the same time the Foreigner tickets did, 10 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, these are, I mean, I'm so happy that this one, and that we're collaborating with Adios Mio Cocina. They've done a great job so far with their newest opening. They're all over social media right now. People shouting them out, people excited about it. Grand opening weekend is this weekend for them. 2909 Pershing, so that 5 Points area. Check them out. Check out their social media page. They post a lot of their food specials, post great pictures about of their food. So if you're unsure of what to get, check them out. Adios Mio Cocina on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, so there you have it, folks. 6 past the hour. Story time with Hags coming up in just a little bit. And then we'll go to the ballpark, and Adrian was there last night. I'm going tonight. Alberto, when are you going to watch a little Chihuahuas baseball?
You gave me tickets last night. I went also. It was a good game. I was telling Adrian it was a fun time.
Did you sit with Adrian or no?
No. I gave him a break. I was like, if I bother Adrian anymore, he's gonna be asking for a break. So I was like, I'm going to give it to him, and I was like, I'm going to let him hang out.
Hey, by the way, you've been hanging out almost all week with the Buzz Adams Morning Show. What's that been like for you?
It's been a whole lot of fun. We did, I do a lot of hanging out. That's what I call it. And, no, I got the opportunity to try some of that, Adios Mio Cocina food. They brought it by this morning for the Buzz Adams Morning Show. They brought us, the bone marrow, which was phenomenal. Buzz ate it all. You said I ate it. I didn't get any of it. I wish.
Oh, but wait, you're telling me Buzz took the entire bone marrow and ate it all?
Well, they presented the food at the top of the segment, and by the time the commercial started and I could get in there, it was gone.
God,
so I won't point any fingers, but no, the bone marrow, I know it was great. I had octopus, that was great. I had the beef fajitas, that was great. And the corn ribs looked really good, so I'm going to be making my way out there this weekend.
So I had the beef fajitas and the potatoes. Heated that up for lunch today. That was in my fridge, which has now become my freezer because my condenser's broken. But I had that, and then I also had those delicious corn ribs. They were good. So food was great. Really excited about that. Adios Mio Cocina, that is going to be a favorite of ours as we go check that place out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. That 5 Points area's got some great new spots, and Adios Mio will join all the great spots out there.
Fantastic. All right. By the way, we got a new one every week. Wait till you hear next week's dining deal. You'll be excited.
It's a good one?
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Okay, cool.
I do. I'm going to keep it quiet until the weekend's over, and then we'll break that on Monday when we start it all over again. All right, folks, 505-6009. That is our telephone number, 505-6009, to get you right on in and through to the program here as Sports Talk continues. All right, so prediction time. Will South Carolina take care of North Carolina State, and will they be playing either UConn or Iowa when it's all said and done?
I'll still take the top seeds. Give me South Carolina and give me Iowa.
You really think that UConn's going to lose after what we just talked about?
The stars are they've aligned for the past 2 decades, but it won't align this time around.
Oh man! All right, Alberto, what do you think
in that UConn Iowa game?
Yes.
Yeah, I want UConn to win it. I got UConn winning it.
Ah, all right. He wants to see UConn win.
Yeah, I just kind of have like Caitlin Clark not come. It's going to be the moment won't be too big. She just won't have enough to pull the whole team through.
Who wins, South Carolina or North Carolina State?
They're close right now. It's 32-37 with South Carolina up just 5 with 9 left in the third. So I'll take South Carolina because they're undefeated. But it would be cool to see NC State take it though.
I've never, by the way, let me tell you this. I've been in sports my whole life. I've never heard of a score given until just now where you give the smaller score first and then the larger score after that. I've always heard 37-32. This is the first time anybody on this show with a sports background has ever given me a 32-37 score. Can you explain, besides the fact that you're reading the television monitor left to right, can you explain to me how we present a score? Is that like saying, hey, the Chihuahuas are losing 4-8, but they're going to be coming back, folks? I mean, think about that.
Okay, this has got a very, it's a simple one.
I got to hear this.
You go to ESPN, women's college basketball scores, NC State, they're on top, South Carolina, they're on the bottom. You know what I mean?
You read it exactly the way it was presented to you, like when you.
Yes.
Okay.
I was just like, boom.
Promise me something.
I try to leave as little room for error because when I don't do that, things go south.
Promise me something. From now on, whenever you read a score, always, unless it's tied, always go with the larger score on first, and then the second score after that. Okay. Promise me.
I promise, Pinky.
Thank you. Promise Pinky. Oh, Promise Pinky. Okay, I was like, how did Pinky get into this conversation? Wait a minute. He already called in. What? He's back again? I didn't even realize it. Okay. Pinky Promise. Or Promise Pinky, as you said. That's good. All right. 11 past the hour here on Sports Talk. When we come back, Tim Haggerty, story time, and our first news story of 2024. We'll do that next right here, 600 ESPN El Paso.